All right, third graders, when you get started today, you're gonna pick up your baggie and it's got your magic number on it. Please be really gentle because you do not wanna crush the things that you did last time, and your clay should still be really, really soft and easy to work with. You should have a coil that you already started. It's still pretty fragile, so be gentle when you take it out. It might have kind of gotten pinched a little bit, so you might have to very gently kind of push it to be back to a circle shape. Some people might take out their cupcake bottom and your coil might feel a little bit stuck to your clay because it was sitting on there. If you're super duper gentle, you can just very lightly kind of peel it off. Since we didn't slip and score it, it should be something that should not be a big deal for you. So today, if you see any kind of lumps or bumps on your base, you can go ahead and smooth that out. Obviously, we want to have this nice and strong, but we're not really going to use this part of our project. We're going to just really be focusing on this part of our project today. Your goal today is to start to add layers of smaller donuts, one on top of the other, until you get your cupcake top nice and tall. And you're going to leave a small little hole, and that's going to be where your topper is. Now, everybody's going to have a different amount of coils. Mine has 4 because my coils are pretty thick and pretty big. If you have really skinny coils, you might need to use more to get all the way to the part where it's really, really skinny. So just know that everybody's will be a little bit different. All right, so I've got some extra clay. You're gonna start with a ball of clay. If you need more, you can always go get more. I would probably split this clay in half. That way I don't have really, really big coils to be working with. I can use my hand to kind of squish the clay into a hot dog or a potato shape. And then remember, when you're using coils, you're rolling from the bottom of your hand to the top of your fingers. You're going slow, steady. I like to stand when I do this. I don't want to sit. If it's getting thumpy, remember you can kind of push it so it's round again and keep on going. If you're so busy talking to your BFF and all of a sudden your coil gets really skinny on the inside, a reminder what you can do is you can pinch the skinny part, you can overlap and push your coil back together, and then you can keep on rolling that coil out. Good rule for coil thickness is it should be about as thick as your thumb. We don't want it to be skinnier than our pinky because then it's going to be really floppy, not very strong, and it's going to take a lot of coils to fill up your cupcake. Once I've got my base ready to go and I've got my next coil ready to go, I'm going to kind of wrap it till it's about the right size. When I do this, what you might see is that you make your coil really, really small and you can see kind of a hole inside of your donut. You want to have this sitting kind of like right on the edge, and if you have a little bit extra, go ahead and pinch off that little bit. If you have a lot of coil left over, you can use this for another circle donut. If not, just set this back with your extra clay and use it for your next coil. So this guy looks really great. I'm going to go ahead and join it together. And to join it together, I need you to use score and slip so that everything's nice and strong. So we're going to use our needle tool. Remember to be safe. These guys are pointy. You don't want to point yourself or point a friend. So I'm scoring my 2 ends together. I'm going to open up my slip. Remember, that's just my really watery clay. And I'm just going to go ahead and take a little bit of slip on my finger, tap some slip on each side, and I'm going to push those 2 pieces together. Now you got to kind of push, push, push. Somebody in another class says, ew, it looks like they're kissing. If you want to think of it like they're kissing, that's fine. But the important part is you really smush them together. They shouldn't come apart easy. You want to have them really attached. You also might see kind of some lines where your coils came together. And so what I'm using is my finger to kind of erase away any evidence that there was ever a line there. So I'm just kind of smoothing out the clay. That helps make my donut really, really strong. This guy looks really good. He looks like he's gonna fit right on top. So now I have to score this donut to my big donut. And I have to put a little bit of slip on there too. Now, I know you guys are really strong, but what you want to be really careful about today is when you are putting your donuts one on top of the other, you need to kind of tap them together and push them so they don't fall apart, but you don't want to flatten them to a pancake. You worked really hard on your coils. So I'm going to lay one on top of the other, and then I'm going to take my hand and I'm just going to gently push, 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 and I have my stack of donuts. If I see a little bit of cracking, I can go ahead and smooth that out. If I kind of do a little wiggle, 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 nothing is moving, that's great. If this comes off, no big deal, but that means you just didn't push hard enough, so go back and use a little bit more pressure to go ahead and get that stuck on there. All right, so the next thing you're gonna do is make another coil and another coil until you get to something that looks like this guy. All right, when you get to this guy and you see your little empty hole right there, you can start thinking about what you want your topper to be. It could just be a cherry. So if you wanted to do a cherry, I would take some clay, I would roll a little ball, and voila, cherry. Not super hard, but be careful, because if I take my topper and I just set it on here, what's gonna happen when I go to put it in the kiln is it's gonna fall off. So whatever you use as your topper, you need to make sure that you score here and you score here. If you're making a cherry, another really helpful thing that you could do is you have some little wooden tools in your bin today. If you put a little hole inside of your cherry where you cannot see it and then put the hole here, it will help your cherry dry out faster. And that would be a really good thing for your cherry, because we don't want it to break in the kiln because it's still wet in the inside. If you want to make like a chocolate chip cookie, you can. If you want to make a strawberry, you can. The only rule is if you are putting things on top of something else, you have to score and you have to add slip to make sure your cookie pieces are not falling apart. All right, so after you're all finished with your topper, imagine this is my little cookie. It looks so yummy, and I have my bottom. It's so yummy. You're gonna bring this to the teacher, and the teacher is going to go ahead and put your magic number on it. So the teacher will help peel off this pink part. Your clay's a little bit sticky, so that's why I want the teacher to do it. Mine's really sticky right now. And we're gonna put your magic number on the bottom of this. So since you guys are in Miss Doherty's class, I'm gonna put a D, and I'm gonna put my magic number. Miss Bergman's magic number is 0. And then I will go ahead and I will take this piece and I will scratch your magic number onto the bottom of this, and you will leave these 2 pieces and we will let them dry out. Final thing, if we are running out of time at the end of class today and you're freaking out, you're like, Miss Bergman, I don't have enough time for you to put my magic number on. What I want you to do is I want you to take your baggie, fold it in half, and then you'll just set your cupcake on here like this on the purple table, and I can go back and add your magic number later. You don't need to freak out. All right, we are ready to go ahead and get our stuff out and get started.